Hi gorgeous, always here. Welcome back to video number 3 of the Limiting Beliefs in Relationships series. In this video, we'll talk about a very common belief and a very common pattern that most of us are going through that could be, a benefit or it could be a detriment to your relationships. It has to do with, I form relationship that resembles my patterns, my parents' patterns or my childhood relationships, and this is something that I talked about a lot, and it's not until I really healed my relationship with my parents deep within me that I was able to be happy in my intimate life with my partner. So why those two things are so closely connected? On the surface you could say, well, they are not that connected. It's just my childhood. It has nothing to do with my adult life. I'm growing up now. It's been many years ago. Here's the truth. Growing up, you've learned millions and billions of memories. They're a tiny microscopic one, and they all becoming part of how you see the world. They become part of your reality, your blueprint, right? Your subconscious blueprint. And whether you conscious it or not, on some level, you are replaying it, and you are creating some of these things mostly with the purpose of healing. The reason why we quote-unquote marry one of our parents is because we want to heal and we want to deal with this on some level. Some of the really funny ways how it replays, I have a friend and she's married to somebody who's very outgoing, who's very has a good sense of humor, is easy to talk, and she's a very sweet lady, but she's very shy, painfully shy. She stutters, and she really had to deal with a lot of her patterns in terms of how socially shy she was. Now her daughter married someone, and I met him on one of the family celebrations. And he's so shy, he didn't even say hi or goodbye. His eyes was like this the whole time, and you can tell that he's highly uncomfortable. So I can tell that she married her mom. Like her husband, oops, sorry guys, is like a spitting image of the mom. And so I, share it many times in my videos, and I'm sharing it with you again. My first marriage was to my dad. I married my dad. So I've been with someone who, was not very emotionally available, and he kind of displays certain qualities of my dad, which I did not see it at that time. Actually, I thought I'm marrying somebody opposite, right? So I was like, oh no, he's different, he has a good sense of humor, and he's happy, and yada yada. So my dad suffered depression, and my dad had a hard time with some of the things, the mild version of schizophrenia, and I am talking about this and I'm sharing it. I know my dad watches my videos because the truth is things are really different between us. His life has changed since that, and so did mine. And I've done a lot of work to heal my relationships with my dad and my mom. And now it's, I see him totally different in my mind. And he's much happier, and so am I. And so I want you to notice, how do you replay it in your life, right? So maybe you have what's called a backward family. Now, the backward family is a very famous dynamic of feminine and masculine imbalance, right? So if you've been raised by someone who has a very strong masculine tendencies, like your mom or your grandma or your aunt, whomever raised you, was just, a man in a family. She was the one who had the balls. Then you will pick up these qualities, and naturally you will attract men who are what? Weak, right? Who cannot take the lead, and you constantly find yourself being the leader, and then maybe he wants to be a leader, and there's this ongoing power struggle in your relationships, and you just can't figure out why is it happening and what's going on. So that could be, an aftermath of that backward family, which some of that I have experienced. My mom was a very strong figure, and my dad, he wasn't playing a lot of role in family dynamic growing up. As a matter of fact, his kind of role was played down a lot. I didn't hear a lot of positive things said about him. As a matter of fact, it always felt like my mom was a victim and he wasn't supporting her in many ways. And the truth is, he was not, but he also was doing the best he could with what he were able to do at that time, right? And it's just never been presented to me like this, and it was this bad guy, good guy mentality going on. And when I got married, I dropped right back into this mentality, good guy, bad guy. And again, it took me a few years to realize it and to release it. And right now, I'm working with a client, and so she's going through something very interesting in her life. And she said, Olga, I keep on attracting guys that I don't want to be with. It's like, if they don't reject me, I don't like them. If they reject me, I like them. It sounds really crazy, but it's an absolute truth in her life. That's what she's going through right now. And, I always say awareness is the first step. And the next step is the courageous, inspired actions, right? So she needs to take the action, and whenever she's ready, she'll take it. But it's this very codependent relationships. When we're with someone who either non-committed and you kind of relationship, but not really. You don't want to lose him, but you don't really have him. You know what I'm talking about? And it's a hard place to be because it's neither here nor there, and this indecisiveness. And when she shared with me, because naturally I asked her, like, what was your, parents' life like? And she said, well, they are married, they're still married, but my dad, he told me that the reason why, he's with my mom is because he loves us so much, right? And so even though it sounds like a positive statement, what it really means is that the only reason he's in a relationship, because he feels trapped, because he have kids and he's there for them. And it's almost like he's sacrificing his happiness for them, right? And it's a hard message to digest, and it's an easy pattern to fall into, right? To become, a victim yourself. And then when I asked her about the mom, she said, well, she was in love with a different man. And I was like, oh my God, no wonder you keep on getting in these relationships. None of your parents were happy, and you knew about that. So that's the map that she's living out of right now. She's tapping, she's doing her work, she's changing memories. Some of the things will shift for her. But notice what is your map. What kind of things that you're replaying from your childhood? What things have you learned? And so other symptoms could be something is an ability to be on your own, happy, and surrounding yourself with people who kind of support you, but not really. You know what I mean? And they're there for you, but that when you start talking about what you really want, they'll put you down, they'll start shutting you down. This codependent programs. And so today we're going to change it with the tapping. So we're going to change the memories. So in the last video, I asked you to bring a couple of memories to work on. Today I'll walk you with a three-step process on how to change the memory. Now, again, memories are building blocks of your reality. They are affirmations, and they are the strongest form of affirmations because they are subconscious kind of affirmations, right? Remember, 95% of our reality is built by what? Subconscious mind, right? It's only 5% that is the logic and things that we can think about and analyze. The rest of it is right there. And so think about of a memory, either from your past or in your previous relationships or in your childhood that you really want to change and clear and release. And what we'll do is we'll tap in that memory. Now, of course, I'll say generic words because I don't know what exactly memory that you work on. But I want you to notice the feelings that you have in there, the emotions that you have in there. And just like we did in the first video, just tap on it. Really, it's not hard. Just tap on it and release until the intensity goes down. So that's the first step. The second step, after we tapped on this memory and release the intensity, we're going to what's called flip it. So we're going to change into something that you do want. It's a very profound step. It's something that makes a deeper impact and a true change on the subconscious mind, because you guys might have heard this phrase that knowledge will take you from A to B, but imagination will take you anywhere, right? And if you've been following any of the transformational leaders, they always talk, imagine something, create it in your mind. Whatever your mind can perceive, your body can achieve, right? So all of that is true. It's just we actually be practically, using this knowledge, we're practically using all of those, words to make it happen in your life. So now as you step into this memory, close your eyes and just kind of notice what's happening there. Do you have feelings there? Do you have pictures? Do you have words? Is there a movie, a conversation? And just start tapping on it. We'll do it together. And just say, let it go. All the feelings, the rejection, the abandonment, feeling of no control, helplessness, hopelessness, whatever is in that memory, it's safe to let it go. All in the past, no longer real, just let it go. Today is my day to make the changes. Today, I decide, I commit to a better quality of life, which is the direct result of a better quality of memories. It's safe for me to change these memories, releasing everything else there that doesn't serve me. Go ahead and grab your wrist. Take a deep breath. Breathe in. And breathe out. Say the word peace. And so what I want you to do, I want you to notice how strong was it before when you started and where it is right now. And as you start tapping on it, the intensity will go down. When you get to the place where it's 0 to 1, very, very low intensity, I want you to flip it. The process of flipping could be a little bit confusing for someone who haven't done it before. Or you could even resist it. You said, oh God, what are you talking about? Are you telling me to change this memory? But it happened. Yes, it did. But it's not happening and probably will never happen again unless you hold on to this, right? And this memory could become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I want you to open up your mind and just to kind of be creative and, a little adventurous with me and practice this process of changing the memory. Now remember, you are the actors and you're the director in that memory. And whatever you do, and it's in your mind, it's you doing this to you. Now, as you change this memory, it could be just about anything. Let me give you an example. I was tapping with my practitioner. We were actually tapping on a memory of my parents fighting. And it wasn't, anything physical, but I remember my mom crying and my dad said a curse word. It was just very bitter. It was very sad. And as we tapped on that, it went away. I was in the midst of working on my relationships with the first husband at that time. And she said, go ahead and change it. Change it to something that you do want. What are they doing now? I'm like, well, I don't know. And I go like, they're sitting on the couch and they're tapping on each other. She was like, okay, all right, how does it make you feel? I'm like, it actually makes me feel very good. And I started crying right away. She's like, why are you crying? And I go, because this is something that I want in my life. I want to be with somebody who's emotionally available and open, but I cannot believe it's possible for me at that time. She goes like, it's okay, go ahead and change it anyways. And when you do, just step in it and make it real and put the colors and the smells and sounds in it. And I was like, I can do that. So I've done that and it actually felt really good. Now, maybe 3 years after this, we did this tapping, and a couple of years down the road. So I went through divorce at that time, and I started dating. So I met a guy. His name is Ernie. He's my current husband now. But at that time, we were barely knowing each other, and I was teaching them how to tap. So we're sitting on the couch in my living room, and I was showing them tapping. And we were just tapping and clearing things. And it just hit me right there, right then, like a lightning bolt, and I started crying. And he was like, why are you crying, Olga? I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this memory. I changed it, and when I changed it, I thought, well, this will never happen. See where I'm going with this, guys? You got this. Don't worry about if it's realistic or not realistic. Just think about what you want and change it this way. So let me give you a second to go ahead and do it now. Go ahead and close your eyes. Step into your memory and go ahead and change it. The only rule for changing the memory is making it to something that you do want. Something that makes you feel good, happy, joyful, peaceful. Again, don't worry if it's realistic or not. That's not what we're doing. If your why is big enough, your how will appear. I can guarantee you, you can manifest those things into your reality. Just stay true to yourself. And once you change it, just take a deep breath. Go ahead and breathe in. And breathe out. Fantastic. Excellent job. Keep on tapping, keep on changing these memories. And of course, the best way to apply this and then spread this and make it real in your life is to share. So below there's a box where I would like for you to share with me what childhood patterns have you been replaying? Who did you marry, right, in your relationships? Did you marry your mom? Did you marry your dad? What are you trying to heal through those relationships? So share with us so we can cheer you on and we can support you in this journey. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, share with your friends. There will be a link to spread the love. And if you're ready for a next step, my life's mission is to help women just like you to create beautiful, thriving, and healthy relationships. And if you're ready for next step, I'd love to talk to you. There's a link to check my Tap into Love program and find out more how I work with people in that regard. Thanks again for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the last video of the series, video 4, next time. Until then, have a wonderful day.